what's going on, family? Listen, we've had a lot of amazing guests on the show, and perhaps you may have never, ever listened to those episodes. So we wanted to present a new segment called SONW Classic, where we go back, we revisit those iconic conversations, and give those full episodes back to you. Sit back and enjoy this week's SONW Classic. Well, listen, I got somebody on the show today that I'm excited to bring because he is an expert in all of these categories. So I hope you got your pen. I hope you got your pad, your paper, however you take notes. Ladies and gentlemen, we got the one and only Herman is on the show today. What's going on, fam?
I'm feeling good, man. I'm feeling good. Thank you for having me on the show. I am honored that you trust me on your platform and to talk to your listeners, bro.
You know, but as you're a kid growing up, right, were there certain things that you noticed, maybe, you know, with family members, or maybe, you know, maybe it might have been a class or something that got your interest into understanding how money works? I'm curious for that because a lot of your content is really focused on educating us with, you know, numbers. So tell us a little bit about, you know, that.
So the journey, bro, probably started later in life because I say this line that my parents prepared me for a world that no longer exists. So you have to realize my parents' mindset. They're from Haiti. They came to America because they could have a better life here. It's go to college, put God first, and then you'll be successful, right? I always say I would definitely put God first, but no shade to the college model, but it just didn't work. It doesn't always work majority of the time because we have to look at college as an investment. So I put up between my undergrad at Temple and my master's degree at Lincoln University. Shout out to the Owls, shout out to the Lions, right? I had a wonderful experience, but return on investment of being $90,000 in debt and the profession that I chose, because I was taught, hey, just get a degree, you'll be fine. No, I got a degree. I became a social worker. Then I became an executive director at a nonprofit. And I have a good friend of mine, shout out to Charlene. She was like, you'll only make as much money as your clients do. She's a lawyer. So I'm a social worker. All my clients are poor. They don't have any money. So I'm making $30,000 coming out of college.
Wow.
I have a master's degree. I'm an executive director for a nonprofit. I was making $55,000. So the return on investment didn't work, right?
Not at all.
So that's when I got into mentorship. To really answer your question, bro, this happened to me later in life. And that's why my passion with my company, Bellastone Enterprises and Bellastone Academy, is I got to get this information and education into younger hands. And I'm teaching a lot of adults because we didn't get this education early. If I knew what I do now at 18 when it comes to credit, how to leverage it, how to put things in your business name, how to protect your assets, those little crumbs, bro, set us up for big returns in the future that I just didn't know about. So I'm preaching this everywhere I go. I'm like, listen, get your credit together, get an LLC, get this. You're going to save money on taxes. Like we were talking about in the pre-show, bro.
Facts.
I went out and got a $70,000 car, not the flex, but I need to write something off for taxes. And I could only do that just because I had that piece of paper, just because I had that LLC. And I learned it at 35 and not 15.
For our audience right now that's saying, hey, listen, man, this sounds good, but I ain't got no idea what to do. My credit score right now is in the 500s. Help me get to a better level. I want to start a new business, but I don't even know if I could because my score is so low. Are there any ways around that? What should be the very first steps for somebody right now that's listening to this show that wants to, get to these type of levels?
Before I answer that question, I want to speak more to our population, our people, in regards to their fear of credit, their misunderstanding of credit, and how a lot of Instagram scammers, they've preyed on our people. They've preyed on people's hope. And now they have literally set back a generation or two because I trusted somebody. They took my money. It didn't work out, right? I do have a credit restoration company. I'm not going to say where we bat 100, but I run a business.
Yep.
Oh, we didn't fix your credit in 6 months like we said? Here's a refund. It's in our policy. It's in our terms and procedures because the stuff really does work. Now, to answer your question, hey, I have a 500 credit score. I say this to people, first of all. Being poor and having bad credit in this country costs you a lot of money.
Whew. Say that again.
Right? Being poor or having bad credit in this country costs you a lot of money. Bro, please allow me to expand because I got to give you two
Man,
stories.
you got to do it. You got to do it.
I went downtown South Philly, had to like run in to like get something, bro. I double parked my car. When I mean, bro, I walked in, I picked up a piece of paper, like I had to pick up something, walked back out, my car was gone.
Wow.
PPA, they towed my truck, it was gone. I caught an Uber to where I know was parked in South Philly, right? And I got a ticket. They gave me a ticket and the towing fee and the storage fee just for those 30 minutes that they had my car. So I had to pay it. As I'm paying it, right, bro? I'm watching people who, shout out to my blue collar workers who work hard for their money. The Wawas, Wawa is a store in Philly. People who work at T-Mobile, people who work for the Pico company, hardworking Americans, right? They're standing in line and they have to pay $700-800 to get their car back. And they're in tears because they don't have it. And every day that they don't pay for it, it's a $30-50 storage fee. So it literally gets worse every day. So literally them being poor is costing them a fortune and they need their car to go to work. I just walked in there because I have a platinum or gold card with unlimited, with a no preset limit. I think my preset limit is like 300,000. Swipe, and I'm out of there.
Whew.
You know what I'm saying? I didn't have the same problem, and it's going to cost them more because they didn't have credit, because they didn't have the money to get their car out immediately. Right? Having bad credit costs you. So I can go into a dealership. Matter of fact, I'll even talk about my house. Remember when we all refinanced during the pandemic?
Facts.
I refinanced my house to 2%. 2%, cheap money, right? Yep. Somebody else who could be making the same money as me or could be richer than me, they have poorer credit. Their house is 4, 5, 6% interest. You multiply that over 30 years, you're literally talking about hundreds of thousands to at least $1 million. So bad credit or being poor in this country costs you a fortune, right? Our ignorance costs us a lot of money. That's why it is my mission. This is what God gave me. This is my platform. Hey guys, fix your credit, get it together early. That's why I'm talking at colleges now, bro. I got a couple of children's books coming out. I want to get it in our hands as early as possible, like our counterparts have it. I'm not going to say white or black. I'm going to say rich people, people of wealth. They had this information a lot earlier than we did, right? So if I get this into younger hands and younger minds quickly, then we will have more affluent people in whatever demographic that you're in.
Oh man, this is good, man. They hear these big words like American Express, Amex, right. But they don't know actually how to go get one. If you're a person right now listening to this show, I feel like you could really benefit from your advice on how to obtain business credit. What will be your advice on someone right now trying to do just that?
So let's go back to one thing important that you said. Number one, cash and credit are tools, right? They help you get to the place you want to go. We just been taught that it's so transactional. It's like a bartering system. I want to buy this phone, so it's going to cost me $100, right? But me, I will take that same $100 and I'll put it on credit, right? Because utilizing my credit is important. And I'm going to purchase this phone because I'm going to start a website. I'm going to start an Instagram, and I'm going to promote something that's going to make me money, that's going to pay this phone off. So my mind is totally different, right? In everything that I do. That's number one. So if people are on this call and they want to get credit, when you're first starting out to get business funding, your personal credit has to be in order. So banks like to see, this is why I like to tell people, think like banks do. If I want to get you money in your business name, they're going to see how you did with your personal, right? How'd you do with your personal credit? How many personal credit cards do you have? Do you have 2, 3? Do you have 4? So the amount of accounts you have is important. Your profile is important. People are really caught up in the score. Oh, I have a 700 credit score, but I'm still getting denied. Well, that's great, but they also care about your profile. Me, a good profile has 3 to 5 credit cards, a couple of revolving accounts, meaning like a car note or a personal loan or a mortgage. You don't want to be maxing out your credit cards. You don't want a lot of inquiries on your credit report, inquiries you get when you're running your credit too much. The banks don't like to look like you're thirsty, right? And they want to see a good length of time of you maintaining this. I have an 800 credit because I got a credit card when I was 17 years old at Temple University. When they was giving out the t-shirts, bro, if you just sign up. So I got that credit card and I've taken care of it for the last 30 years. Right.
Wow.
I've only been late on it once, and that was 20 years ago. So that's how I have an 800 credit. But that card is old. So my credit cards are old. They have nice high limits. They're all over 10,000, and the usage on them are below 30%. That's a good profile. Bank to see that. I was like, oh, he did good with his personal. Now I come in with Bella Sloan Enterprises, my business, right? My business is brand new, 6 months old, 3 months old. I haven't sold anything. And I go to the bank and I'm like, yeah, I need 25, 30,000 because I need to get the website. I need to hire some people. I need to get inventory. I'm willing to bet on my business and myself. The bank's going to be like, I know you, Herman, but I don't know Yellowstone Enterprises, right? Who has a name. It has its own social security number, which is EIN. There's like, I don't know your mans. I'm like, you know what? You don't know my mans. They don't make any money. Let me co-sign. Let me stamp my mans. This is what the personal guarantee is. So they're going to be like, all right, Herm, you got 2, 3 credit cards. You've taken care of the money. All right, bet. We're going to give you 2 to 5 times what you've done on your personal for the business.
Sheesh.
So that's why you see people start off with credit cards, $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 on the business side, because banks understand that this is not a credit card for Black Friday, right? To buy. They know you need to buy equipment for your business. Right. So they're going to start you off with a higher limit because I got to buy. We're talking on my Mac. I had to buy a Mac for me, my CEO, and my vice president. I had to buy them cell phones also. Yep. I had starting operating costs that I had to do. So that's why the limits are much bigger on the business side. And the blessing is I can max those cards out. They're not going to hurt me on the personal because it doesn't show up. It doesn't report on your personal credit. So those are just some of the foundations that people need to understand if you want to get the business funding. Your personal credit has to be in order. You have to set up your business properly. You have an LLC. You have to have a business address, business phone number, business website. You got to look pro to these banks. Think like they do, and they'll get you a bag.
Facts, man. You can't, you on the show dropping bars, man. I think it's so important right now. If you're listening to what Herman is saying, he's really giving you the blueprint. He's really giving you the blueprint on how you could right now go start that business, get that funding, but it's not so important to make sure that personal credit is intact. And one of the things I'm really excited to talk about is a book that you're working on to impact kids and how they're thinking when it comes to a lot of things we're talking about. Can you tell us a little bit more about it?
Yes, absolutely. So to give you a little genesis on that before I answer it, I started to realize, bro, that in my mentorship, Bella Sloan Academy, I have 40, 50, 60-year-olds, 30-year-olds, 20-year-olds who I'm just giving this information to, and they're hearing it for the first time. I got this collection. How do I get it off? I'm trying to start my LLC. I'm trying to start my business. How do I start it? And I realized something, bro. I was like, why am I the first time you've heard of it? Why isn't this information taught in school? Why isn't it taught in college or high school? Why is that not happening? I got a little bit financial literacy from my father because on Fridays when he used to come home from work, he used to take out his checkbook and he used to be like, I made $600. Let's pay the bills together. So he showed me how to balance a checkbook. Bro, I was like 8, 9, 10 years old. I wasn't grown. So he's like, write out the check and he would sign it. It did a couple of things. It gave me financial literacy, showed me how to balance a checkbook, and it showed not to ask for the Nintendo because when my dad said I ain't got it, I knew he didn't really have it, right? I give you that long story because I was like, this information needs to be given at a younger and younger age. I said, all right, let's go into colleges, right? Because I go into college and I speak to 18-year-olds and I tell them you can have $100,000, $250,000 in assets by the time you're 21. And they look at me like, that's not possible. I'm like, no, if you start building your credit now, in 2 years, you'll be able to get business credit. You leverage that, put a down payment on a multi-family, and now you can live for free in your 20s. And they're like, what? Then I was like, wait, let's go younger. Let's go to high school. Let's go to grade school. I'm talking to my team about it. And I was like, listen, it's time for us to start planting the seeds like I do for my children. So I wrote 2 books, right? Co-wrote it with my 2 daughters, Bella Sloan and Olivia Monroe.
Oh, I like it.
So one of the books is called The ABCs of Credit, written by Olivia Monroe and myself. And the second book is called Bella Gets Business Credit. So the ABCs of credit is A is for APR, B is for balance, C is for credit, D is for debt, E is for equity, F is for FICO. So we're reading, just like we learned A is for apple, B is for boy. No, let's switch it up and make it and turn it into financial literacy. And what else I did with the book, bro, is at the back of it is a glossary where it's giving the definitions of everything because the parents are going to be learning as their children are learning.
Ooh.
Now, Bella builds business credit. It's a story about Bella who wanted to start her. Everybody got a lemonade stand, right?
Yep.
So let's teach them let's get some business credit to start the lemonade stand, fund it up front, and then you work your business so you can make money. So these 2 financial literacy books that are dropping for Financial Literacy Month of April. So thank you for having me on the show again. We're going to use these books to educate our kids, but also educate the people that are reading the books to our children.
Yo, what you think? I hope you enjoyed today's episode. I want to know what you learned. So if you wouldn't mind, would you take a screenshot of you listening to the podcast on your phone right now? Upload to your Instagram stories, tag me at Shawn Anthony _, and then let me know in that Instagram story what is one thing that you learned. I love hearing from you, my listeners, thought leaders, former or current students all around the world. Let me know, and while you're doing this, go inside the podcast app, subscribe, leave a 5-star review and a 5-star rating. Again, this helps us reach more people. And if you want to be a part of this mission, helping us change the world one person at a time, it makes a massive difference by you leaving a review. Thanks so much. I'll see you next week. And remember, dream it, believe it, go out and get it.